this is my position with my comedy club. So my comedy club pays different than every comedy club. The comedians make most of the money when it comes to the door. That's how it should be.
But let me ask you this, Joe, and if it's too much, we're like, dude, get the fuck out of it. But is the Mothership compared to the Comedy Store, the Improv, are you guys crushing them?
It's doing really well. I mean, the Comedy Store is always going to be one of the great clubs on earth. It's a legendary club. It's dependent upon who's there. The difference between the way the Comedy Store does it and the way we do it is that we bring in national headliners for the weekend. Like the weekend, it might be Dave Attell.
Yeah.
This week is Tony Rock.
Is there another club that does that? Is there? Because the Comedy Store's a little different because you have your regulars. Is there another club that does that?
Sure. Most clubs do that for the weekends, but the thing is they don't have the same lineup for the weekdays.
Yeah, I know.
So the weekdays, we've got Shane Gillis, Ron White, Tony Hinchcliffe. Kill Tony's there every Monday. It's a different
That's
setup.
what I'm saying. Is there anybody doing that? Because the comics have to be. So my whole point is, however you run your business, it's like, is the model where you're doing it, where the comics are making the majority of the money, is that a sustainable business?
100%. It makes money.
If we take Joe Rogan out of it, and some dude wants to start a club and did the same thing, is that going to be profitable?
No, you have to have the talent, but that's the difference. It's like the thing with the PFL versus the UFC. You have to have the talent, right? And the reason why our club works is because everything. Look, it's pure luck. It's pure luck. Everything had to line up. We had to hit every green light. It had to, COVID had to happen. The Comedy Store had to get shut down. All the employees from the Comedy Store had to get fired. We had to not be able to do stand-up in L.A. I had to be worried about my family and like the crime and the riots. And then the COVID shit, where everyone was wearing a mask, I was like, this is bananas. And then moving to Texas or just visiting Texas.
But you got to give yourself credit. Like, luck, yes, but you were also the guy that had the idea to do it. Yeah, most people wouldn't pull that trigger. You didn't have to do that.
That is true. But it's all a lot of luck because it had to happen at the right time. It had to happen at a time in my career where I had a lot of money. You know, so it had to happen when the Spotify deal took place. So I had all this money.
Yeah.
And then it all had a lineup where I was already the #1 podcast in the world. So I could easily get people to come.
Because of you, Joe.
I understand,
I get the
but it
thing,
had to line.
And you're humble.
No. I'm just being honest. Like, it had to line up. So I couldn't have done it on my own. I had to come here. And Ron White was already here. So Ron White's a big reason why the club. I mean, he was one of the main reasons why I moved here.
No, I know.
Because I was like, even if I never do comedy again, and I was really wondering if we were ever going to do comedy again, Ron's here. I'll hang out with Ron. We'll have laughs.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, and then all of a sudden Tony moved here, and then Tom Segura moved here, and Brian Simpson moved here, and Hassan moved here, and Derek Poston moved here, and it was like, oh shit, we got something cooking. And then Tim Dillon came here, and then it was like, oh my god. And then Duncan Trussell moved here. I was like, holy shit.
Well, they're moving because you're here, Joe.
I understand, but
you're the Mothership,
right? But they had to do it before the Mothership even opened.
Take a shot.
They all moved before the Mothership opened. Shane moved after the Mothership opened, but they all came in early and trusted me.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, these guys, I owe them. They took a chance with their future. Mm-hmm. I have to throw everything into this, and all together we'll do it.
Yeah.
So it's our club. It's really our club. But it had to happen in a way where I had this disposable money. I had disposable income where I could do it and it wouldn't hurt me.
Yeah.
And then I could set it up in a way where the comics make so much money. So that way you encourage people to stay. So there's so many people that are there all week long during the week. They don't have to go do shows other places. They can make money at their home club.
You're doing it right. I guess my example, like, can the UFC do that? Because my example for you, it's like, can these other comic clubs do that and sustain and grow and have money? And
they could in New York, and they might be able to do it in L.A. So I don't think you could do it in L.A. right now because the store is open. And the store is always going to be the premier club in the world. It's always legendary. Yes. So it's on Sunset Strip. Even though L.A.'s falling apart, it's still the legendary destination for stand-up comedy. It's one of the main reasons why I was excited to move to L.A. It was Mecca. It was when I was a beginner and an open micer in 1988. They would talk about the store like it was Mecca, like you had to go to the store.
They still do, though. I don't think that's ever going away.
Of course, it's, the store comes and goes in cycles, like it always does. It always goes in cycles depending on who's in town, who's there. It's all comedy clubs are dependent upon what talent is in town during the weekdays. And if you don't bring in talent on the weekends, That's the difference. Like, so the store doesn't bring in headliners for the weekend like the way our club does. I told Scott Shore, I was like, I think no, it was Peter. Sorry, I told Peter Shore, I was like, I think you guys should do that. I think you should like.
But do they have to
bring
though?
in-
Because you can still go on a Saturday night and you'll see,
Yes,
big names.
you will, but
big names.
But you could have those people there still as well. Like they could also do shows with that person, and you have 2 other rooms.
And that's what you guys.
You have the OR and you have the belly
Belly
room.
room.
You have 3 rooms
facts.
in one location. Like you could still have the OR filled with top talent because
Yep.
they don't give a fuck where they're performing in the big stage or the little stage.
No.
In fact, most of us prefer the little
OR,
stage.
yep.
The OR is an
Yep.
amazing room.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's like you have to have enough talent in town, and a lot of people moved out of LA.
Yeah,
A lot of people moved out of LA. Yeah, Joey Diaz moved out of LA. Like a lot of people moved out of it. Theo moved out. A lot of people moved out. So the problem is, you would have to have enough talent there, and then you'd have to have talent that was there all the time, like us. Like
Brendan Schaub with the biggest shit-eating grin I've seen in a long time went on Joe Rogan. Didn't promote the fighter and the kid, by the way. Just his god-awful Big Brown Breakdown and his crappy TV show. However, in that discussion right there, that was the only time Schaub was heated, because Schaub is one of the guys who moved to Texas and Joe Rogan refused to let him perform at the comedy Mothership. And we know this for a fact because Schaub actually admitted it. Joe Rogan said that guys hit him up all the time to perform there and they're not headliners. We all knew he was talking about Schaub, and then Schaub went on the Legion of Skanks and confirmed that Joe Rogan said he couldn't perform there. Schaub did end up there on an episode of Storage Wars. No, not Storage Wars. Story Wars with Louis J. Gomez, but that was just a podcast and they probably snuck Schaub in. But you notice how when Rogan was naming off guys, he was going to say Brian Callen, but then stopped because Brian Callen and Schaub moved there. Callen moved there and performs at that comedy Mothership every week, and Schaub followed him down there thinking, yeah, I'm going to perform at the comedy Mothership and be on Joe Rogan every day. Didn't happen. But he got on it this time, and it's not going to do anything for him. But like I said, no promotion of the fighter and the kid. See, Brendan Schaub hates Brian Callen now and has already said he wants to bring the fighter and the kid podcast down to once a week and completely stop it altogether. And he's going to be starting his own Patreon. So this was him going on Joe Rogan and not even promoting the Fighter and the Kid podcast. To be fair, whenever Callen goes on stuff, he doesn't promote the Fighter and the Kid podcast either, because like I said, they both hate each other at this point. But oh boy, this podcast. Oh, we got some more videos. We might have to do a live stream about this one. Because, oh my God, Schaub in this one. Oh boy, he did. He truly is a dummy. He really is a Joe Camel, big dumb elf looking piece of crap. But don't forget, this man sued me and lost. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.